Yo, yo, how you going, guys? Here we go again. Good morning, Gabriel. Hi, man. Hey, guys. From Houston, Texas. Nice. What's going on, fellas? Gonna do some shoulders before I start front squatting. One thing that I realized after yesterday, after doing the shoulder press, the single overhead dumbbell press, by the time I got into the front rack position, I started feeling really nice with the front rack. So even though, like, we often talk about front squats being, upper back and, you need hip mobility, you need ankle mobility, all that kind of stuff. I feel like in recent times, like, I just kind of jump in underneath and I start repping out 10 sets of 10 with the body weight, with just an empty bar. And that's all well and good, but getting into some of these positions with the shoulders is kind of, it's a little bit rough, straight away, bang, full external rotation and just like funny positions. So today I thought, let me just do some lateral raises. Yesterday I did, pressing. Today let's do some lateral raises and see if that kind of warms up a bit of the shoulder girdle. Let's see if that makes a difference of how I feel in terms of the shoulders. So I'm just doing sets of 12 here with 5 kilos, nothing crazy. Nothing crazy at all, but I'll do sets of 12. I think I've done 2 already. I'll do, I don't know, see how I go. Bodybuilding stuff always feels good, man. It makes you feel like all pumped up. So it's nice. Let's see if I can get the shoulders on the map and then I'll start front squatting and let's see how it feels. I've tried loo raises. Those are not bad as well. Why am I not doing loo raises now? I don't really know. I'm trying to, in a way, I don't know if this makes any sense. So yesterday I did presses. So I don't want to, I don't know if this makes any sense. I don't want to do a similar movement to a press. And a loo raise is kind of like from here to here, it's kind of like a press, right? So, so if you grab the dumbbell like what I did yesterday, you do this, so kind of the top portion of a press, of a loo raise, right? Similar thing from here to here. What I want to do today is go from here to here. So it's kind of the thing that the press doesn't do, if that makes sense to you. That's kind of how I'm thinking about it. I don't want to go through the same range that I did yesterday because I'm already fatigued in that range. More side delts, yeah, basically. Andy Pants 35, what's up, man? Thank you, man. Oh, sweet, you're gonna be a nurse as well. Good on you, dude. Welcome to the profession, man. Good on you. From Saudi, Leo, how you going? How you going, man? Back at it again, man. Let's get some blood moving again. Right, that's full. Yeah, I saw the game. Yeah, I was worried there for a sec. Jokic, they were freaking triple teaming him, man. The boys were missing shots, wide open looks, and then Jamal rocked up and he freaking went crazy. Michael Porter Jr. He made some big threes, so they're looking amazing, man. Absolutely amazing. And the whole thing was that 12-0 run they had. Was that 12-0 run? In the last quarter, like at the 5-minute mark, they just went on this run. They were getting stops as well. Yeah, it's good. 6 a.m. Paris. Nice. Alright, that's 5. It's getting warm. One AM in Argentina. Nice. Adelaide, man. I'm from Adelaide, Australia. Oh yeah, I could do a bed turbo as well. That's a good idea. That would be really, really good. The reason why I'm doing it the way I am is because the discomfort in my shoulder when I'm front racking is through here. Like it's very much kind of anterior, kind of like deltoid kind of region. So I feel like if I do this sort of business, it will kind of put some blood in there, so I have a happier time front racking. So the theory goes, like, so I don't know. Let's see how it goes. I'll do a few more sets and then I'll get under the bar and see if it feels better. That's kind of what I'm thinking about. I don't tend to do any of these fluff exercises because of no reason. There's usually a reason, like, you know, if I don't have like a direct, let's say, carry over to a squat, or if I don't envision like a reason for doing it, I don't get stimulated enough. I don't get excited enough to do these exercises, these bodybuilding exercises, like, you know, bicep curls, lateral raises. Like for me, it's like if I'm thinking about bodybuilding, what are some of the most popular bodybuilding exercises? You know, like if you think about anything, like all I ever think about bodybuilding as unique to the sport of bodybuilding, it's like bicep curls and freaking these things. It's just, I don't know, maybe that's just me. But clearly, you know, there is benefit there, obviously. It's just, it's something that I don't enjoy. I don't enjoy doing that. I mean, this stuff is making me yawn. That's how excited I am to do this. Yeah, I explained earlier about the loo raises. Alright, that's 6. I'll do one more. And then we'll get squatting. It's nice to have a shoulder pump. Feels rather nice. Let's see if it helps me. If I don't feel good, like if I don't feel like there's a significant change or feel or anything, it's probably the last session I'll do them. It's just something I'll 10 minutes. It's worth trying out to see if it makes the shoulder external rotation a little bit easier. Whether I feel a bit more fluid in the upper back or whatever. Let's see what happens. So one more, so that's 7 sets of 12. All right. Oh man, first freaking set is the shittest. Oh. It's like the body doesn't want to go into that deep squat position. This is, I think, why a lot of people don't train. Because that feeling of doing the initial stuff, horrible. But the moment you warm up, completely changes. Completely changes as soon as you warm up. Just get through the first set and you're good. Two. Do you know what role hip internal rotation plays in hip mobility? So, this is you standing. You've just walked out a squat, right? You've walked out the squat. The first quarter of your squat is in a external hip rotation bias, let's say. So you go from external rotation, you're going down, at 90-degree knee bend, or parallel squat, you're in internal hip rotation, and then you continue to go down, and I think when you at the bottom, it goes into external rotation again. So there's like this transition that your femur kind of goes through. It's kind of like that. At 90 degrees, it's hip internal rotation, and then when you get to the bottom, it's external rotation. Top, bottom, external rotation, middle, internal rotation. That's kind of, if I'm not mistaken, that's kind of how it goes. So external rotation is what most people are kind of finding themselves when they're standing, walking. So if you cannot squat, it is rarely because of external rotation, it's because of internal rotation. Because the act of squatting to some sort of parallel depth is internal rotation. So, you know, if you have difficulties to initiating the squat, getting to parallel and falling backwards, that's because your femurs are not able to internally rotate. Because the start of the actual squat pattern is external rotation. So if you can do a quarter squat, you've got external rotation, basically. That's kind of how it works. So it's your ability to kind of slide your femur, your neck of femur, your femur to go into internal rotation. So that's my understanding of it. I'm sure there's guys out there who can give you a better breakdown of what really is going on. But that's what's going on. And so when I had my hip pain, at the peak of my hip pain was the shittest hip rotation. I got to a point where it was like, I didn't have like a, you know, plus 10 degrees hip internal rotation. Mine was like 0 or negative. Literally my femurs were like stuck in external rotation. I could not get them in. And so is that by coincidence that the heart of my pain and the heart of my hip internal rotation struggles were at the same time? And so what drives that, what doesn't drive that, that's another conversation. How you squat, what depth you squat, that's another conversation. This is why I always say internal rotation is kind of the thing that separates good squatters to bad squatters. Because hip into external rotation is like your deadlifting, it's like anything with hip hinging. The moment you start to kind of like, you know, introduce a knee bend in the hip flexion, into hip flexion, and you load it kind of a squatting pattern, that's when you get exposed. So that's just kind of like a rough idea of what I understand about hip mobility in its relation to hip flexion with squatting. That's how I look at it. Miloše, Jesse, man. Homer. Good to see you, Homer. Lukas, čao, čao, pozdrav, Miloše. Aren't you supposed to slightly lean forward for laterals? There's no rules, dude. You can lean backwards if you want to. You can lean forwards. You can stand on one leg. You can stand on your top of your head. It doesn't really matter. Think of movement, instead of being so rigid in your kind of view of training, think of movement as a spectrum from one to the other. There's no rules, man. Doesn't really matter. You can bend over, do that, you can, every which way. One thing that I always try to tell people is, don't ask me, don't ask anyone, aren't you supposed to? How do? You do you, man. Like, there's many different variations. Just do laterals, whichever way feels good to you, because your structure is probably not the same as mine, blah, 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 all that stuff. Jump squats good for warm-up. Yes. Yes. Steven, what's up, man? How would a big squat routine go for you at the moment? Oh man, I'm scared of that thing, man. I'm scared. Yeah, man. Anything high reps, I feel you. What are my goals for this block? I don't roll in blocks, man. There's no blocks, it's all fluidity. I haven't defined a block as anything. There's no periods, there's no nothing. It's just whatever I need for whatever length of time I need it. So right now, the elbows are concerned. I'm doing pushing to address that. I tried pulling, that made it worse. So now I'm doing lots of pushing, lots of volume, lots and lots of volume. My elbow's feeling a lot better. So I'm basically 2 exercises at the moment, really. That's it. Bench press and squats, front squats. That's all on my mind. And I'm kind of doing things here and there, like lateral raises as an experiment. Front squats are feeling great. I'm feeling healthy, I'm feeling strong. The goal is just to put in as much volume as I can to recover from into the front squats. I'm doing volume on them every other day. 10 sets of 3, currently I'm doing 110. 60% of my recent 180, let's say. So I'm just doing that, and the hope is as I tolerate more and more volume, the strength should kind of go up with it. The goal is to get 185 front squat, and then 190 and 195 and 200, all that. I just really want to push the front squats. I'm really excited for the front squats. The front squats feel good. My posture is improving. I'm just in a really nice place right now. Hips are feeling great. Like literally, other than the elbow a little bit from the screw up that I did 2 months ago, I'm feeling great. And I think the lots of volume with both front squats and the bench pressing is contributing to that. And when I sustain a period of feeling good with my body, like nothing is hurting for an extended period of time, that's where gains come for me. And that's when I start to feel good, that's when I start to feel confident, and this is where I start to attempt heavy weight. I think last week that I hit 180 front squat, that was amazing, so that's just an indicator that I'm feeling good. I think a 200 kilo front squat would be, yeah, I'm so excited for that, man. Like I can't even explain to you. I don't know. It's a cool feeling to kind of do something without fear of injury, without fear of anything hurting. And front squats have never hurt me really, man. I don't know why, what slight changes the angles, front to back squat, but when I do front squats I feel good, I feel strong, I feel happy, balanced. When I do back squats, I start to handle some heavier loads. and I start to struggle containing auto-regulation, or whatever you want to call it, ego. Because with the back squat is so forgiving, man. Like, you can back squat and then you can kind of deadlift the back squat. With the front squat, the moment you stop that perfect posture, it's the end of the lift. You start to break down and the bar falls down. With the back squat, you can shift your ass back, you can good morning that thing up, and this is where you start to kind of tap into overreaching, hurting yourself, grinding through like shit ranges of motion where your knees are buckling in ever so slightly, putting more pressure on the outside of the hip, the TFL region, all that stuff that pisses me off. With the front squats, I know like every rep is basically identical, and it allows me to work with less weight, and that's the key. I'm getting more out of less. And the front squats carry out the back squats. It's like perfect scenario, man. Like, my whole system is working harder with less weight. I think that's great. How many pull-ups can I do? I could probably get 15, like right now. How do you get wrist mobility? Well, let me ask you this, how often are you front squatting? If you say to me once a week, you're not going to get wrist mobility. You know, it's one of those things, it's like, how do you get so strong? Well, get off the couch first. You have to get off the couch. So get off the couch. Do the bar front squats, empty bar front squats every day. And I reckon if you do that, you're gonna get pretty good at the wrist mobility. You need to get out of that whole mentality of I want to beat the fuck out of it once every week. That's not gonna get you the results you're after. These types of things you need to do every day, just a little bit every day, man. But people are afraid of it. They're like, oh, I can't squat the bar every day. That's overtraining. This is where the lines start to get really, really blurry with some of these things. It's like people don't give a shit about technique acquisition, mobility. It's like the bodybuilders are like, no, you can't squat 3 times a week. It's impossible. Well, you can. You can squat 25 times a week. If squatting is defined as putting an empty bar on your back and squatting it to depth and up, you could do that 4 or 5 times a day. Why couldn't you do that? I think people mess up their definitions. They're like, oh, you can't squat 25 times a week, because they think that every single time you squat, you're doing 5 by 5. That's not the way to think about it. What you need to think about is, okay, every single time I'm going to come in and shoot my free throws. Shoot your free throws, dude. An empty bar for 10 sets of 10 is shooting free throws. It's not game time. You're not under game conditions where you're huffing and puffing taking a free throw. It's not hard. It's not difficult. There's no pressure. There's no momentum you're fighting. There's nothing. Shoot your free throws. If you can't get into a optimal front rack, it's like you can't shoot a free throw. A free throw is a fundamental skill of basketball. Fundamental skill of basketball. If you cannot shoot a free throw, you won't be able to shoot a 3 well, right? So if you can't front rack an empty bar, you won't be able to front rack 180 kilos. Shoot your free throws every day. This is something that I've carried over from my basketball days. This thing doesn't exist. It's like a very, very, it belongs to powerlifting community, where these guys are like, well, you can't train twice a day. It's like, you can, and you should. And if I was a full-time athlete, I would be training twice a day. Or you're overtraining. How is it overtraining to pick up an empty barbell? How is that overtraining? Oh, but there's no benefit in that. I beg to differ. I think if you grab an empty barbell in, just go through the motions, that is shooting free throws. And since when the shooting free throws doesn't benefit? Why can't we treat this as a skill? Is this not a skill? Why can't this be a skill? Skill could be defined as simply getting into the end range of motion of your wrist. Mine doesn't hurt. What does yours hurt? Well, how many free throws have you shot this week? Not many. I know not many. I know it. You don't need to tell me anything. I know exactly what your routine looks like. You haven't front squatted at all for 6 months because every time you pick it up it hurts. I haven't hit a free throw in 6 months because every time I shoot the ball I miss. So I just don't do it anymore because I keep missing. See what I mean? I hope that makes sense. Right, 6. All good, man. Glad to help. Yeah, all good, Jeffrey, man. I have tried good morning, Cedar good mornings. I don't like them, to be honest with you. I can put my chest on the bench. Obviously, highly depends on where you put your feet and whatever. The reason why I don't like it is because I don't know. It's very easy to round your back because when you sit, you kind of, I don't know. It's weird. I don't like it. And when you go forward, you're basically resting on your nuts. I don't like that feeling either, to be honest. I'd rather do them standing. Yeah, bow to the people. I've read it a few times. Seven. Pink Supremacy, 6 a.m. in Sweden. Nice. Nice, dude. Good morning. David, I don't cycle anything in. For the most part, I'm very, very minimalistic in the way I approach training. So it's like I squat, and then I might do something else that helps the squat. I mean, right now I'm not doing anything for the upper body. I started doing push-ups, bench press, because the elbow started hurting. So I started focusing on that. Before that I was doing rows, you know. Now I'm not doing rows, I'm doing bench. Rows were not helping my elbow, they were kind of making it freaking worse. So I've kind of gone, okay, let's do the opposite. And the opposite is now helping the elbow. The tricep is getting love every other day now. There's blood being pumped through the tricep. And so that whatever that thing that's pissing me off, whether it's a tricep tendon or I don't know what the hell's going on with this thing, but it's starting to feel better. And so that's how I do it, man. I lock in on a few kind of attributes, a few ideas, and I just grind them. But most of the energy is being put into front squatting at the moment, to be honest. Hero Lupin. Yeah, exactly. I'm a deadlift everyday body, man. Really am. It's the unfortunate thing, but you fall in love with the difficult, I guess. Alright, 7. 3 more of these babies and we'll run up in weight. Hopefully 160s today. And then back off work with 110. 10 triples with that. And that's it. That's the playtime for today. Yeah, the jumping was amazing to me, man. Absolutely amazing, and I will be resuming those jumps the moment I start to lift heavy weight again. I'm not doing them right now. I'm kind of focusing on something else, but the jumping has been put away into that pin squat box. And so if somebody said to me in a week's time, I need you to come in and hit your best squat ever of your time, there's a few kind of exercises that I keep in that box to pull out if I really have to peak. Like in a week's time, I got to be able to perform at the peak. Jumping, pin squats, that kind of thing, man. That really lights a fire under my ass, my CNS. So, you know, the pin squats are great. Don't get me wrong, the pin squats are amazing, and some of my best squatting was done when pin squats were around. The only trouble is it's like zapping. It is zapping, it is heavy work. It really smashes you. So I've kind of found a bit of a workaround with that. I can jump and get a similar response from the body and still kind of, you know, get after the performance side of things without the recovery being such a huge investment. Pin squats are, man, it's hard freaking work, man. Eight. If I can get to a 200 kilo streak, that would be a beautiful thing, man. It's very exciting, very exciting, dude. I kind of I made all these goals that like I do at the end of every year for the following year. All these different goals I put up. But now I'm kind of like thinking to myself, if there's anything, 200 kilo front squat, that will be success like I've never imagined it. Because 200 kilos for me is like an old nemesis, man. It's a really old nemesis of mine. It was a big deal the first time I hit it, and it's still kind of a big deal. And for me to do it front squatting, that is the true conquering feeling of 200. That would be really cool. right, that's 9. Yeah, man. I love that. I love when I see people do that. When they're like front squats, huge weight, or back squat. It's usually Olympic weightlifters that do that with bumper plates. I love that. They just throw it to the ground, you know, remove a couple of plates off, and they're going to that next routine, whether it's power cleans, or whatever the case. I love that. It's so cool, man. So cool. All right, so that was 9. I'll do one more, and then I'll run up the weight. We see what's possible today. Yeah. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Dumbbell pullovers, yeah, I used to do them. I experimented with them on and off throughout the years. You know, I know that back in the day, bodybuilders were big fans of them. You know, talking about expanding the chest and all this sort of stuff. Gets the lats kind of good as well. Oh, is it lagging now, is it? Oh, hopefully it doesn't drop out. Yesterday I had issues with the internet. Oh, dude. Oh, there's nothing I can do. Weather the storm, I guess. Oh, man. Oh, okay. Okay, good. Yeah, yesterday when I was bench pressing, man, it cut out like I don't know how many times, a whole bunch of times. Hopefully it catches up. Thank you, Gregorio. Thank you, man. As an apple. Alright, let's give this 160 a bit of a ride. Let's see how it goes, I guess. Yeah, I'll leave it there. Oh God. That's one. Yeah, I'm kind of, I did the math this morning. So I'm calculating my max to be 180. I know it's 182 and a half, whatever, but it's around 60, 62%, something like that. I think for front squat, 60% is great. Because anything heavier than that, it becomes, I don't know. There's squatting and then there's squatting. Like if you go into 70s, you start to kind of deviate a little bit from the perfection of a rep. 60% allows me to really emphasize the right engagement, the right bar path, the right stacking feeling, especially when you're doing triples. So I can kind of manhandle 60% and just get some quality reps through there. I like 60% a lot for that. Yeah, yeah. Because a lot of times when I'm like doing the 180s and the 170s front squat and the 160s, like that one last 160, like yeah, okay, it moved, but like internally, what I felt wasn't the greatest, right? Like people watching would be like, oh yeah, put more weight on. No, the reason for no is because I knew what failed. What failed on me was the upper back. I could not maintain that position in the bottom. And so yeah, I muscled it all the way through and the rep was finished, but if you spend too much time working on those kind of crappier reps where certain systems are failing, then it becomes a norm and you start to get injured and back injuries and whatever. Like every department needs to be perfectly functioning for me to be happy with the rep and for me to spend time with sets and reps in that range. So 60% for me is like perfection. I can really, really perfect the reps. And training has, unsexy as this sounds, is about doing that. Doing the not sexy weight, shit that for some people it's embarrassing, like 60%. Like, fuck off, like I'm better than that. But that's give or take 10% or 5% or whatever, like depends on what system is failing you. That's where you want to be. That's where you spend most of your training time. Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, that's it. 60 to 70% for me is best. Over the next few weeks, I will get this 110 to 120 slowly. I spent a few weeks with 100, 110, getting accustomed to that. But it's not like a linear progression. It's all by feel. I might spend 6 months with this, right? Like it just doesn't matter. It's when I start to really feel like it's getting a little bit too easy, add a bit of weight on. And I still hit my singles, the initial workup. I still hit crappy sets, crappy reps, kind of to gauge what I'm capable of when all systems are go. But I want to be cooking, in the right kind of heat. And the other thing, what I like about 60% is that even on bad days, I can still hit it. You know what I mean? And I think setting up your routine that even on shit days you can work through, beautiful. No anxiety, no worries. Every day I can hit this shit. Whether I hit 140 on the top single or 180, every day of the week I know I can hit 110. And that's a nice feeling. That's a happy time training, all of that. But when you start getting to like 70, 75, shit starts to get, today I'm feeling shit. This isn't gonna be a fight. And the difference between a shit day and a good day could be 10, 15% sometimes. I know, theoretically speaking, for a triple, you should be able to hit 85%, right? 80 to 85% should be possible with a triple, the famous 5x5 is based on 80%, right? That's kind of the shit, even though that's heavy ass work. That's kind of what people did. And so if you can hit 80% for a 5x5, you should be able to hit some sets, some triples with 85%. But that's on a perfect, strong, good day. Do you know what I mean? So I go to myself, I'll work with 60. So some days that I'm 20% weaker, I'll be there. I can do that. And I'm not all that convinced that you really need to push the shit, push the weights to really get the benefit of resistance training. Oh yeah, 5x5, dude, like that, those hours and hours and hours that I spent like before the high frequency training, shit man, that made me really question, why am I doing this? You started feeling like a damn job. Started feeling anxious, grumpy, like fuck, I know at 6 p.m. I gotta go in the garage and go to absolute fucking war. You know, I remember taking like 20 minutes between sets. You know, it's like, fuck, what is this shit? And like, you look back at the video, you're like, that is revolting. What the fuck is that? You know, like, you're looking at that, you're like, what am I doing here? I'm trying to trick the body into doing some shit? Like, that's not good. So I know very, very well, I mean, that was a big motivator for me kind of looking elsewhere. For training kind of inspiration. The 5x5s have ruined training for me for a while. My back doing front squats are not as arched as back squats. I'm not sure if I'm understanding that correctly. I don't think your back should be arched, because an arch is just as bad as a flexion. Three, now it's a 4. Does my back look arched? Well, I don't know. Should be flat. Should be flat. Obviously, it's a continuum. Not flat, like natural arch, right? The natural position. Do you squat to your max ATG position just above? Yeah, max. I go max. Hey man, yeah, you go max. There's no point stopping any shorter. You go to the full range that you can, and you go from there. It's better for your knees that way, because there's assistance with, you know, if your knees are doing this in space, right? So all the weight is on the knee, right? As it's kind of doing this. But if you start to like touch your calf and your hamstring together, there's always like a suspension system for the knee, you know, so its change of direction is softened a little bit. But obviously you need mobility for that. All right, that's 5. Yeah, Josh, keep working with it. You're very, very new to the game. It takes 10 years, man, to get really good at this stuff. You know, people say 10-year thing, you know. Like rounding where? Like, is it rounding in the thoracic region or is it rounding in your lower back? Lower back rounding is very bad, dude. I would not be recommending anybody to be lifting weights in a rounded position in the lower back, because that's a defeated position. You're defeated. You have to retreat. Thoracic spine is a little bit more resilient because there's supporting structures like your ribs and whatever, so it's kind of more protected. And so you might seem like you're rounding because of the thoracic spine is letting go. And that's what I was saying to you before, like you should pick a weight to get your volume in without thoracic or lumbar rounding. You want everything to be perfect, and that's where you put your reps in. It doesn't matter if that's at 50% or 60% or even if it's 70%. Just make sure your technique is good. And this is where like percentage-based programs means absolutely nothing. It's a ballpark figure. You need to work out for you, which percentage do you stay perfect in? Put reps in there. Put reps in. Don't put reps in to shit, you know? It's like, it's not good. You want to practice perfection. You know, I'm working with 60%. Like last week I was doing 55% of my max, right? Why? That's not useful. I think it is useful. You need to understand between, let's say, 0% and 100%, it's not a linear thing, right? Certain systems fail at certain points. So maybe your quads fail at 90% of your max when you're doing a set of 5, but your thoracic spine has failed at 75%. You know what I mean? So you have to kind of go to the weakest portion of all your systems. Front squat for me is the upper back. And so I'm like, okay, I'm good at 60%. I'm gonna put reps in there. There's no point playing up to the strength and saying, no, I'll do reps at 75% because my quads can take it, I can make the lift. My upper back is getting smoked and it's out of position, and then I'm not practicing rigidity. And so that's gonna cost me when I get to 100%. See, so this is kind of, because you have to understand, like, the weakest link is keeping you back from progress. It's not your strongest link, it's your weakest link. So what is your weakest link? Identify it. That's sometimes very difficult to do, I understand, but you need to identify where the weakest link is in your lift, and there are many systems in the lift. Like you're thinking about squatting a barbell. It's not just a quad exercise. That is a foolish and very immature way to look at it. The front squats are not just about quads. I can guarantee you that. So you need to work out what's failing at what point. And sometimes it's very, very hard to do. It takes a very trained person to work out what's going on. So what is failing at what point, identify that thing and go from there. You don't want to be practicing with a broken segment of a lift. Like it's like practicing an F1 car with the spoiler being off. Like what are we doing here, man? You're practicing with less downforce than you would otherwise have. You have to practice with a perfect car. You have to practice with a freaking not-crashed car. So practice with a complete car, right? That's how I look at these things. And so this is where my problems start to arise, and people are like, Ivan, what percentage are you dealing with? I don't want to tell you, man, because it means nothing. It literally means nothing. 60%. Oh, cool, I'll do 60%. It might not be. That might not be the right thing for you. It might be something else, man. It might be 45%, right? If you go completely shit upper back. Completely shit upper back. Or, how about this? How about this one? You can't even get to ATG position, man. It might be an empty barbell, man. 0%. That's the freaking working weight you should be doing. Oh, fuck off, Ivan. I ain't doing that. Whatever, dude. I'm telling you what's holding you back. And a lot of this shit is not sexy. It's not. You're working with half of your max. You're working with half of your max because we're trying to get the damn weakest link. The weakest link. What's costing us? That's it, man. That's it. All good, man. All good. You're welcome. Yeah, man. Good mornings. We'll do that. You haven't got... Yeah, well, it depends what level you're in, man. Depends what level you're in. Hey, Supreme. Hawaii, man. It depends on what level you're in. Like, you know, sometimes progress stalls. And you gotta work it out. You know, there'll be voices in and around you saying that that's your max, you can't go anymore, like you've got a shit program. This is the thing, when progress stops, man, the first thing they say is, you know, you got a shit program, you gotta do this. Winning fixes everything, man. Winning fixes everything. They used to say for years, jump shooters can't win an NBA championship. You can't win a ring shooting threes, man. You can't do it. And then Steph Curry did it, changed the freaking world, and all of a sudden everyone's jacking up threes from the under fours all the way to freaking men's basketball. Everyone's shooting threes. Winning fixes everything. If Ivan started doing squat every day and started squatting 2 tons, guess what would happen? What would happen? Squatting every day is this shit. Whether I'm on drugs or not, irrelevant. The results speak for themselves. The winning speaks for themselves. But whenever you stop progressing, regardless of the reason, they're going to be like, jump shots can't win championships. Dude. Squatting too much. You're squatting with this, with that. You're not eating enough. It's always something, right? Like, so, you just got to work it out. Work out how to get by it. Work out how the Steph Curry start winning. And then everyone's going to be saying, well done. Yeah, of course, you know, shooting the ball is going to win the championships. It's kind of one of those things. Winning fixes everything. You know, and then you'll also have the people who say, oh, you know, the only reason Bulgarians did it is because they were on drugs. You know. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, dude. Yeah, I know. Daniel, dude, this is the game. This is the game we signed up. The game we signed up to is a game of struggle. It's a game of plateaus. It's a game of boring ass work day in, day out. And, you know, you have to put your free throws up. What do you think LeBron and Steph Curry do every single day? Do you think they're hitting game-winning shots every single day? No, man. In the off-season, it's just him, maybe 3 other guys rebounding for him, and he's doing this. Thousands of freaking reps on the daily. On the daily. What are you doing? Oh, this is 110. I'm doing 10 sets of 3. I've done 7 so far, 3 more. That's the end of the session today. Just doing front squats, put a bit of volume, and that's it. That is it. Thank you, dude. Thank you. Yeah, Brandon, exactly that. Everybody started somewhere, man. The only question is like, how much can you take it? You know, how many years can you take the training? How many years can you put up with it? That's all it is. How resilient are you? What does my post-workout look like? Shower, freshen up a little bit, and then chill for a little bit. Nothing else to it. I'll probably go play video games with my boy, and then I'll go to work. That's basically it. Nah, I don't stretch anymore. I go through periods where I stretch, but love-hate relationship with stretching, man. Like I don't know. Right now I'm in the hate relationship. Every time I stretch for any period of time, I get weaker. I lose strength. I start to butt wink. You know, I stretch these muscles, and these muscles almost forget how to freaking work. So, no, I'm not fasted today. Actually, I was in 2 minds about today. I fasted for 12 hours. 12-hour fast. I had 1 meal, and basically that's it. I'll eat another one, then I'll go to work. Basically every day I fast 12 hours. That's kind of like the safest option. I know I eat breakfast, but it's not really breakfast. It's usually a later kind of meal. You know, it's like a brunch. So it's usually a 12-hour thing. Do my kids squat? Man, they squat 20 million times a day, man. They are born squatters. We're all squatters once. They all squat. I take inspiration from them. Perfect mobility. Perfection. All right, that's 8. Outside of the knee, just look it up, dude, Google it. It's probably the peroneals, I would say. Peroneals, that's probably the muscle. Thanks, man. You too. Have a good one. Oh, if it's above the knee, it's ITB. Yeah. Oh. We stopped playing. Dave Link. We stopped playing, man. We stopped hitting the ground. We stopped playing. The moment you stop playing, that's it, man. You know. You stop playing, you stop squatting, you stop, you know, sitting on the floor, you stop crawling, you stop doing all these things, and why would it remain? There's no reason for those positions to remain accessible when you forget about them. I think that's what it is. No, I've never been into martial arts, man. Never. Never excited me, never wanted to do it. I'm a lover, not a hater type of deal, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't want to go in somewhere and, I don't know, it's just never me. I get it. I really, really get attracted to things, disciplines where I can train them by myself. You know what I mean? Like, all I need is this setup here, and I can train for the rest of my life. I don't need anyone. I don't need to rely on anyone. 24/7. With BJJ, like, you know, I need somebody to rock up. I got to go somewhere. I have to make appointments. I have to make schedules. I have to, you know, go over there and practice with him, arm bars, this, that, the other. You know, just like basketball. You just go to a ring, and it's just you in the ring. You just work on your technique. I love that aspect to it. Even though that's basketball is a team sport, I love the fact that I can work on my game without anyone. I like that a lot. So like boxing would be good for me, probably. Something like that. But even then, like, boxing it's about reading the opponent and all that. So I don't know. It's just my initial thoughts when you ask me. I'm very, yeah, it sounds like I'm introverted, but I'm actually extroverted. I'm extroverted, like I feed off of environments. I work in ED, man, you know, so I'm vocal, I'm loud, I talk a lot, as you guys can probably tell. But that kind of extrovertness needs alone time. I need to stop, I need to have quiet time. So, because I work in ED and that's all like rah, 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 24/7, when I get home, like, I just want peace and quiet. You know, I just want to be left alone for a bit. And 9. All right, one more, boys. And another training session going, huh? And these 80 minutes would have passed even if I sat on the couch doing jack shit. But I made a good decision today. Came out here and spent some time doing something. Extroverted, introvert. That's interesting. Yeah. Like, I love people. I love being around people, talking, sharing stories. Like, I love that. I love that side. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not, you know, versed into this literature or whatever to classify myself, but I like both. I like my peace, and I like good company. You know. Maybe it's a situation where, like, you know, the work, and maybe some of you guys that have kids, you'll understand. You know, kids are full on all the time, running around, play, yell, bang, racket, you know, ba. It's always full on with them, full of energy. You can't match kids for energy, it's impossible. So they drain you from that. It's hard to keep up. And then you go to ED and go, you know, ED's full on, man. Like, people are having the worst days of their lives. So it's full on, full of energy, blah. So that's like high energy. It only makes sense that I need something that, you know, quiet time. It makes sense. Like, otherwise, I don't know. You know, it doesn't make logical sense to go from high, like, you know. Let's get this last one. I'm gonna try and make this last set perfect. Perfect. Let's try and really get these reps. All right. Whew. All right, boys, that's it. There goes another one, another training session. Pozdrav, kako je? Another training session, another day. This is how they rack up, man. This is the craziest thing. They rack up real quick. Day after day, day after day, day after day. It just keeps ticking. You guys have a good one, man, all right? I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Probably around the same-ish time, I reckon. Probably around the same time. Let's see what we can do tomorrow, eh? See you guys. Peace out.